That's very good. That's splendid. My name is Dragorad, or for short, if messaging or whatever, Drago, which is a more English-friendly version. I'm one of the founders, a co-founder of eyezon, the live on-demand shopping sandbox SaaS solution that for the last 1.5 years actively as a growing business in several regions transforms and in many respects rebuilds the customer experience in online retail in all of the key touch points of digitally transforming e-commerce business across over 20 different industries, working with predominantly largest enterprise businesses in retail and manufacturer brands in over 20 categories, starting with apparel, jewelry, sportswear, sports inventory, and then across beauty market, cosmetics, motherhood product, childcare products, all the way to consumer electronics, digital electronics, home appliances, and real estate, HoReCa, and starting recently automotive market as well. So what I usually, when we present ourselves in discussions with partners, negotiations with partners and clients, because it's a recent thing, speaking about live video applied to e-commerce. Usually we talk about basic credentials for understanding why we think that we are one of the players in the global market of digital transformation and applied to live that has right to speak not just about their business, but actually about their business being one significant part of future digital retail transformation in general. So there are numerous ways to speak about these credentials, but for these purposes, I would focus on three main things that we achieved for last almost 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years. And the first one is that we are among the first in the market. I don't want to sound immodest, but we're one of the first in the global market who actually believed in live video as a efficient, probably one of the most efficient tools for next decade of digital transformation, and in the same time who believed that, namely, live video on demand, live shopping as an on-demand experience, personal, direct, one-to-one or one-to-few, would be the cornerstone of using live video translations in e-commerce in next decade. So the first thing and the first uniqueness, if you like, about what we are doing is the vision that stands right in the middle between live broadcasting as a very hyped up and a very useful, no doubt very useful instrument and tool for promoting the brand and engaging customers and promoting sales to a certain extent, starting with the China boom market that goes on for at least 4 to 5 years, spiked heavily during COVID, obviously, and being adopted through Amazon Live and many independent players in the market could provide this technology, these toolboxes that allow independent retailers, larger retail networks, brands, manufacturers to start using this technology for creating more opportunity for their own e-commerce assets like website apps, store apps, and etc. So that's from the one side, We are not in that space. So if anyone is watching this and has much more interest in live broadcasting using influencers, celebrities, and basically working in the area of high coverage live translations with product promotions, this is not our business. I'm going to touch that a bit later, a bit more. Because we initially focused fully on the very different customer experience that is much more closer to a true purchase moment and consideration of purchase moment within the customer journey that happens much closer to the product in a moment when we are deciding to make the purchase, rather than working with a wide audience, wide traffic in order to get involved, engaged, interested, and then convert to purchase. So we are on demand live. And then from the other side, other flank, there are extremely developed, very mature clienteling solutions, a very wide range of SaaS products in the market for retails and brands of any size and scale that are working within the model of direct, more one-to-one focused customer experience, but are working with live as live videos, live calls as a part, significant part, but nevertheless just one part of the wider ecosystem of instruments like chats, chatbots, direct marketing instruments, social media marketing instruments. So being a part of the wider picture of keeping the extended dialogue with your online customer across time, guiding this dialogue and basically doing as much as you can with this client versus your KPIs, relying on your customer, our CRM base and all of these instruments, social selling instruments, as one package, a toolbox that allows you to build this relationship with the customer and build also retention and selling. So from one side we have live broadcasting. This is the setup of current live e-commerce. From one side we have live broadcasting, which is something that we usually call here inside a couch TV or the TV shopper 2.0, something that we all remember from 70s and 80s and 90s in TV format that got its second breath and basically transformed into what we have today as a live broadcasted shopping experience across many platforms. From one side, from our point of view, that's a very interesting trend. It's a mega trend. It will evolve with a fast pace, differently in different markets. China and Asian markets a bit culturally different, a bit different customer experience in general. In Europe or North America, Latin America would be a bit different evolution. But overall, it is a very powerful instrument that we believe will evolve in years to come, rather more into a powerful marketing instrument that would rather substitute a large portion of ATL advertising, being more efficient, being more engaging, delivering much more information about the product in much more entertaining and storytelling format. But we do not believe that this is a strategic channel and strategic asset for promoting sales, that the conversions into purchase will always be not enough in order to justify using this type of instrument on a large scale with a high frequency and investing a lot of budgets into it. Production costs, basically to stay competitive in this space, you start with smaller broadcasts with influencers. Then in order to beat your competition, like it was with TV ads before, you start with small and efficient format that has quite a good, quite good portion of sales as a potential. And then during time, when it becomes norm, you get a competition, and then you have three types of costs that render it obsolete as a sales tool. First is production cost. It has to be much more rich. It has to be much more deliver much more difference, uniqueness from other type of content from your competitors using the same live broadcasting approach. You have to scale it across a wider range of products in order to see this effect. And you have to be really consistent about it. The second is the media cost, which comes out of that. They will also grow like they grew with the TV advertising and digital advertising, ATL advertising. Starting with a nice, interesting, very powerful instruments. Banner was a very powerful instrument a long time ago. YouTube video ad was a very powerful instrument a long time ago. With time, media costs to provide the wide enough coverage and wide enough traction to these live broadcasts is going to exponentially grow as well. It is already being included as a significant portion of media plan and media budget with large brands and retailers who are using this format extensively. And then the third one is that it will be significantly more difficult to integrate live broadcasting as a sales tool into all of the other instruments within the customer journey. They're more or less always providing this live, vivid, rich experience in the beginning part of the customer journey. They're always much more about awareness and consideration than they are about the exact purchase moment, exact purchase context, or after sales, after purchase moment, and completely different KPIs that are connected to that. So wrapping up on that part of the space that we are working in, as our credentials is, and then you can hear it and you can judge it and you can say, I don't agree with this, or I agree with this. This will also tell you a lot about about us. Is that we believe that live broadcasting is a very powerful instrument, as I said. We do not dismiss it. Actually, we find a lot of ways to collaborate with companies in the market who provide these type of instruments to our clients as well, retailers and brands. But we see them much more as a marketing instrument and advertising instrument of the future due to a growing portion of live video in overall content traffic in social media and in retail space, publishing space. Something of a new TV ad in terms of its role within the marketing mix. So that's why we think it is very important, and that's why while we're doing live, we do not mess with that space at all. The second part, as I said, are clienteling solutions that are providing a very comprehensive, long-term, very rich in terms of functionality experience for the customer and for the salesperson and the sales agents on the retailer side of building a long-term relationship and using all the potentials that your CRM is giving you and a lot of other data to build your relationship with your client, a dialogue with your client in time, and extract as much value from it as you can. Live video in that respect, put in that concept, is something that we usually call live calls. Like it's Skype 2.0, now it's Zoom. So it's a very practical part of this approach where you are guiding your client on demand rather than your client connecting to you on demand. So it's much more about what you can do for your client with these instruments than how you can respond in a very seamless, instant, and very genuine, natural way within the context of your client demand right here and right now. So again, this is the future, applying new, improved artificial intelligence solutions, neural networks and machine learning, big data and the amount of data, but also the quality software for working with this data will immensely improve this experience and will actually give a very, very a completely different level of connection with a customer that large enterprise business having a lot of customers could really, with these instruments, with new clienteling 2.0, 3.0, will have a lot of space and opportunity to create very intimate relationships with its customer, though this customer is 1 in a million. But live here is, again, as I said, for us, it's something of a video call. It has a very tactical purpose. It has a very specific task to deliver specific information, show something, get more personal contact, whatever you need at that moment in a wider context of your dialogue with your customers, through chats, messengers, social media, and whatnot. So we are right in the middle. Why? Because we are live, on demand, and very targeted in terms of context. We were focused initially on the purchase moment, on a product page, on a store website, store app, any type of asset in online that you have, you name it. We've created a product that out of the box, without any additional customization, any additional work from the technical side of the client, beyond a very simple ones that IT support can do, is to create very targeted experience, connect each and every product to a very specific set of stores, shop assistants or consultants in these stores, to provide this connection only if there is the in-stock product in a specific location with a specific salesperson who is responsible for this category. So basically providing a seamless, instantaneous, one-click experience of transporting your customer from your online product page into the physical space of the store, showroom, warehouse, promo space, whatnot, directly to the product, and allow him to start experiencing, prolonging this pitch from your page with videos, photos, and descriptions into a direct sales session where he can get the product demonstration, very obvious, very visible, where he's actually fully free to interact with the product and with the shop assistant or the expert person in the way that would be the most natural if he would be in the store. So in a nutshell, that's what we provide, but we provide it in all respects as a very customizable experience. There's a wide range of options that you as a business can set to create vastly different experiences for these customers while providing him this exact benefit. First one is, for example, just to name a few. First one is you can create this as an instantaneous experience, so something that happens within minutes. Many of our large enterprise clients do this in home appliances, digital tech, apparel, sportswear, where in this mode of window shopping, where your customer at that moment is browsing your product pages, you're providing him an extended experience of just browsing, because he's not engaged. He most probably will not make the purchase within this session, or it's like 50-50. You're providing him with this tap on the back and saying it's fine. You can just browse. That's fine. So you may just want to look at stuff. And by providing this quick 1-minute experience, where, by the way, our average session with very high efficiency of over 30% conversions from video stream to sales is not longer than 3 minutes across very different categories. Some categories are 7 to 8 minutes average, like hardware and stuff. The DIY categories, some are much shorter, like sportswear, sport inventory is like 1.5, 2 minutes demonstrating, showing. But within this very, very short window of time, with a very simple, not busy interaction with your client on behalf of your shop assistant, you're basically providing this just browsing experience that is not obligatory in any way to your customer, which gives a completely opposite effect than you would usually expect in the physical store. When you ask your customer in the physical store, how may I help you? And when you get, I'm just browsing, I'm just looking through, that's probably the one and only answer that you don't want to get, and you start fighting it in many different ways, using navigation, engaging materials, POS materials in store. But when it comes to online space, it's a completely different environment. There is a huge amount of information initially, very well thought through, very well laid out, very rich content, a lot of different aspects that kind of encapsulate your customer into this urge that he understands that he either has to make a choice or he gets tired too. So allowing for this window to get into an analog experience just for a brief moment of time to see a specific feature, or ask a question and get the demonstration, gives us a huge conversion rate. From the very beginning, it was already huge. At the moment, in certain categories, like, for example, childcare products or sports inventory, or even cosmetics, beauty, we are getting not just tenfold higher conversion rates than usual online conversion rate from the product page. In some cases, we are getting, in specific product groups, we are getting higher conversion rates than from the brick and mortar stores within this experience. So the first thing that really makes this, makes what we do, as we believe, truly unique, is that this is something that actually works from the day one in any scale. You can use it on 5 products, you can use it on 50,000 products or 100,000 products. We have these cases as well. So it works immediately. It has a very well-proven effect with figures and with data across 20 industries on a large geography. Russia CIS market was our pilot market. Now we went global. And this conversion rates that prove that combining the analog offline experience of the product just with a couple of minutes to your client with quite an average even level of sales skills from the other side gives at least the same conversion rate than as brick and mortar stores, and at least 10 to 15 times higher conversion rate, which would be like 1.2% globally across FMCG and electronics and other stuff. We get at least, our lowest conversion rate is 14%, and our highest conversion rates, for example, in childcare are 73%. So which means that 3 out of 4 people in childcare after video session are making the purchase within the same online session. So that's the first thing. It's efficient. It works. And it's proven to work. And that's the second thing. It's proven that it works at scale. With not just the sheer number of clients that we work with, international businesses in the region, local businesses that are leading players in this market, in Russia CIS as a pilot market, in very different business scenarios with very different infrastructures and management system between brick and mortar and e-commerce. And that's one of the biggest pains, right, in digital transformation, is that very often offline and online commerce are not just poorly connected and coordinated. Sometimes they're very competitive still, going through this process, having different P&Ls even. So from these kind of companies that are just in the very beginning of digital transformation and brands, to brands that are one of the flagships of the digital transformation in retail globally. For example, we have 2 largest electronics and home appliances players, NVIDIA and Eldorado in the region, with thousands of shop assistants connected to the system across over 100 of stores. Overall, there's like 1,000, providing for tens of thousands of stream sessions monthly, with steady growth, 20 to 30% each month, scaling this to 70% of their range, which are tens of thousands of products, hundreds of thousands of products, scaling it month to month in 2-year period, and creating basically a very very tense, very engaging, and very familiar already. It was just a year and a half or 2, very familiar experience for their customers, increasing not just their conversions, but also retention, frequency of visit of the website, creating a new habit of customer using this window into the reality of the product within the rich digital content presentation of your product page. Educating your customer that it is the first place to go if you want to get the full information and the feel and the sense of the product. So the second thing is the scalability. As I said, I believe we are the only player, right, globally. Again, if competitors are watching, they usually are. We watch all of their their translations. I don't want to sound this modest. We have very much respect for several players in the global market who are following this path, and we love it. At this moment, because we were earliest to start, we started developing and developed the full product 3 years ago, and we were testing it very, being very thoughtful about it. And when the COVID hit, we were the only player in the market that could connect, 5 Walmarts simultaneously in the region within 3 weeks, kickstart everything, and make all of the system working within 1 month. And during 2020, during all of the lockdown period, providing steady full-time jobs for all of the shop assistants in hundreds of stores, thousands of people across all of these industries, actually bringing value, and in certain cases, as I said, more value than they were bringing on the floor. This is one of the reasons why we proved that we are scalable, not just in terms of executing this, but the fact that our churn rate at the moment, and some clients might be listening to this, so it's easily verifiable. We provide context for references. We've gained 63 clients for this period, and we lost 2 clients, and both of 2 clients put the project on hold after the pilot due to the need to transform the management system on the floor in the brick and mortar and to adapt their e-commerce component, so the website components and app component to work better with these types of services. So scalability, second one. And the third one is the sheer number and the variety of completely different scenarios in which our clients creatively use this stuff. From a very simple experience that you already seen with the Adidas example, right? So it's a very simple experience. Widget is embedded into the page. You can embed it next to the Add to Cart button, which is, by the way, counterintuitively the most efficient way to use it with largest conversions, because it's very visible and it's the moment of hesitation of adding to cart that it deals with. You can embed it in a very specific place within the content group, photos and video that you have, so you can put a call to action button of see live or buy live for those who are browsing the visual content. So they obviously want a more of the visual impression of the product. Many people look for very different stuff visually on the product. They don't like to read a lot. Then you can use it as a contextual pop-up. So there's a variety of customizable options, how you can trigger this widget, how you can show it to the customer, and then how he can engage with it. Obviously, you can do it in a very fast-paced manner, that I said like 15 minutes ago. The most fast-paced manner is like once the request is sent and the question is asked, there's a timer, like in call center, so there's a timer that manages customers' expectation. He can wait for it. He can close this pop-up and move on browsing other products. He can even close the website. He can even close his computer. In that way, in that scenario, he will be pushed an SMS notification or browser push message that will get him by the link, get him back to your product page within this session into the live video. So we provide a lot of different ways to make this really seamless and quick and instant, but that's not the only way. For example, many businesses, sometimes depending on their on the industry, like automotive industry, real estate, or hotel business, hospitality, it's not a typical way that you work with your client, right? You're collecting the lead, preparing the presentation, on B2B as well, right? Preparing your presentation, your sales pitch, whatever you're doing, the demonstration of the car. In dealership can be not in the dealership itself. It can be parked like a kilometer and a half away from the dealership center or whatnot. So in these cases, you obviously want to have an instrument like appointment, which would provide you collecting the lead and then immediately getting back, not like usually we will call you back, but immediately once the request is sent, your customer gets the empty slots, times and dates when the shop assistant who received this request is available for, like any online service. You choose your slot and bam, that's a match. After that you are actually doing nothing as a customer. You don't have to have any app or whatever. You can live your life. 1 hour before, 10 minutes ago, before, and in the moment when the live streaming session will start on the side of the shop assistants, you will get an SMS push with reminder and with a link, and you will get back to the site, to the product page, and bam, you're in the live session. So it's kind of also a shoot and forget experience. We are removing the friction of, even when we're scheduling, we are doing stuff in a way that this impulse moment when I wanted to see stuff and I understand that I will see it in 3 days, I can just say yes, choose the time, and I can forget about it. From there, we take him automatically, pushing him, remind him that in this specific moment, he should get back, and he doesn't have to do anything for that, just press the link from the message. So that's also an important component. I believe that for many of you, that's like, yeah, of course, but actually to do this in a proper way, without just having a lead form, leave your contacts, and then we'll call you when you will call me. Oh, you put the time, you set the time for, okay, that's a call, video call using Zoom or Skype. Okay, download Zoom or Skype. So there's a lot of nuances here that actually make it or break it for the customers, and we deal with them really well. Personal shopper, that's one of the business scenarios for complex purchases. For example, in DIY, redecoration stuff, or cosmetics, wellness, there's a lot of combined complex purchases that you would actually need. Your starting point would not be a specific product. It would be actually a specific service. So most of our clienteling competitors, I would say, or partners in a way, we are all partners in crime of promoting live on demand. But most of them are using this approach as a universal, it's a universal bubble of how may I help you, which is always present in left or right corner of the website, as you can see here, right? But it's used, it assumes that customers is browsing through the products and then he has some questions and then he goes there. What we found, and I think that maybe our partners in crime would be interested in that angle of things, is that when we were testing these different ways of putting the widget in, when we are embedding the widget within the product page, connecting it to a specific product, and in the layout, putting this call to action button as part of a specific product, gives 4 times higher conversions into clicks and into requests, 2 times at least higher conversion to requests. If you're putting it as a universal element of the website, like how may I help yous, even if you are building it around live video, clickability on that type of experience is much lower, because expectations from the customer, they have a lot of associations with these universal site elements as something which is not really connected to what I'm going through right now and thinking about. This is just a guy in an office who will just open the same web page and then chat with me or show me the screen with the same product and then give me some more information. This is not what I want. I can do it by myself, and etc. There's a lot of stuff there that we found along the process. So we do use this scenario with the universal element, a bubble of how may I help you, but with our clients, we are connecting it only to that type of service when you need an expert consultant for complex purchases, like redecorating your children's room. There's a lot of questions there, starting with your design plan that you want to share with, ask about the materials and stuff, and then you get the whole excursion of like 15 to 20 minutes throughout the range in the store, and assembling your cart. Within this live session, you can add stuff to cart, or the consultant can do it for you. So once it's finished, you can go check out and buy it, or do any other further inquiries with these products memorized. So it's kind of a complex purchase guide service. Again, widget is very creatively used in many other places of the website. We are using it very successfully in the reviewing the cart. So once we get to the cart, that's one of the critical bounce points, right? So we see that it's in the cart, and then we say, okay, bill later. So there's an additional push to put the widget across those products, on all of them, to invite the customer to remove any additional problems and information that they have, a lack of information that they have about a product through a demo or additional expertise or whatever. This is proven to work really well with left carts. And also, this is something that we are right now testing with a food retail, with groceries, and especially green and fresh segments, organic and farm products, which customer is very, very uncomfortable to purchase online, because there's so much more information in the exact product than in a photo and the description and origins and credentials and whatnot, right? For very conscious customers, they want to see a specific piece of meat, for vegans or dairy products, cheese or whatever, or something completely, vegetables and fruits as well, and especially in premium grocery retail. So we are now experimenting with embedding eyezoning the cart, assembled cart for these articles, for these SKUs, in the very simple moment after the delivery is assembled, right, by the delivery service, and in the moment when it's handed over to the delivery staff. So at that moment, if you ask for these products and added that to cart from your app or from your website, you get SMS push. If you wanted to check it, you put, I want opted in. I want to check this specific meat and these specific stuff visually, and to change it if I don't like it. You get SMS, you press it, and within 30 seconds, minute, they show it to you. You ask for replacement or whatever. So it extends the overall logistics in like 2-3 minutes, and it's done by the same people who are assembling those. So it's basically a huge impact for a very, very low investment, money-wise, time-wise, and whatever. Social shopping. If there anyone who is not bored to that at the moment, that would be a good moment to pay attention. Is that you remember from the beginning of the story, we're speaking about broadcasting, TV shopping 2.0, broadcasting for large audiences, live, etc. So we understood while developing different scenarios with our key clients, and also doing customer development with users, we understood that there are very specific and very valuable purchases. They're much higher than average checks. Are the purchases either complex purchases, as I already said, or a high-risk purchases. Like, for example, automobile is a very priced purchase, but it's not as high-risk purchase because there's a ton of information and it's tech. So you get a pretty fair, you can rely on a lot of stuff and say, yeah, this is pretty much the car. You just want to try it, test drive it, but it's not a huge risk. But when you're buying materials for redecoration or furniture, especially crafted furniture, etc., you have a lot of questions on actually what's the quality and how it works and how it's assembled and etc. So there's one scenario where we always need someone else, like significant other, a friend, expert friend, a friend of a friend from Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, Snap, who we would like to engage, if possible, within this session, just to listen and ask questions with us, looks at the demonstration, hears what shop assistants or experts, consultants have to say, because he understands it better, or it's more emotionally important for him, he's much more involved or whatever. So from these tiny co-op moments to much higher co-op moments, for example, for tactical promos on specific range, where you get invited to, see live, get a live presentation for 5 minutes, and if you bring like 10 friends or 20 friends or 50 friends, you get a discount, like co-op shop model. We already have these kind of platforms and solutions from China to Latin America, booming right now. Future unicorns, current unicorns, actually, speaking about China. When, Groupon 2.0, we got back to these kind of collective purchase as a collective effort, not just as a social experience, which is what we are focused on, but also having a very practical, pragmatical dimension of organizing a kind of a broadcast, but on your demand as a customer for a specific incentive that will be discount or whatever. So it's kind of a turning upside down the typical live broadcast, influencer broadcast model, that you put the customer ahead of everything and his specific demand and his motivation and his selection of people that he wants to involve. And then the experience itself of how he involves them is extremely simple. It's again shoot and forget experience. You're just asking for the live, doing appointment or immediately waiting for it, and then you can just open your connections, your address book, from across all the social media, whatever you have in your phone, and just add anyone else to it. They will get SMS notification or pushes through their messengers immediately with links, and they hop in, and that's it. They're on the same product page with you within the live session made by Shop Assistant. So there's a lot of other stuff there. And the last but not the least from these core scenarios that we believe are our USP, because we've tested a lot of them and on a wide scale, really, and we know what works, what works better, what works worse, and what you have to do in order to make it work better at scale is live reviews, or we call it peer reviews. We are entering this space early this autumn, so this is something of an exclusive statement. Sorry, I have to take some something liquid. So we all understand what the influence agents and influence marketing is actually all about. It's about and bloggers, working with bloggers and etc. So ambassadors. It's about very simple thing. Speaking about a purchase moment, it's about catching those who are still in doubt before the purchase or close to the purchase. Sometimes after the purchase, we do some additional inquiries for after sales purchases or whatnot. You want to have good reviews. You want to have good blogger reviews. You want to have good user reviews. You want to integrate these reviews into your product page in order to do what? In order just to remove these potential barriers and doubts. And today we are doing this in such a clumsy way. We are doing it in such a not engaging way. It's like virtually like we just want to we just want to do it for the sake that here you need some user reviews, here they are, we aggregated them for you, or go to the recommendation website app link there, or here we have a couple of bloggers and you have 30 minutes review about everything that you want to know. Yeah, I don't want to know everything, I want to know about this specific feature, but to get a live review on that. And obviously, as everybody knows, this is already an advertising market, pretty much like 70-80% of all of the reviews, and especially influencer reviews, but also user reviews, are actually part of the marketing campaigns, influence marketing campaigns, influence agents, and etc. And customer knows that, and he feels that, and we're just playing the game that, yeah, everybody knows that, but let's play that it's okay, and customers play that game until you provide them with the experience of a guaranteed real person who would, in live, share his experience with this potential customers right now while he's choosing the product, and he would be sure that this person bought the product, used the product, and can actually show that product and share his personal experience. So peer reviewing on demand, something that you can today only do asking on your Facebook status or Instagram or Snap, whatever, oh, did anyone buy this, and what do you think about it, and then wait, whatever, and get a lot of non-relevant answers about stuff that you're not interested in, or asking your friend that actually has experience with it, used it, but there's no seamless connection way to identify these people immediately and to get within a couple of minutes or a clear appointment for the date and time when they will share their experience with you directly, not with Instagram audiences or whatever, but with you, and be incentivized to do that. So peer review product is exactly about that. So it is basically a possibility to embed the widget, the same widget that we have, and trigger a completely different scenario. Once a person bought a product and goes to checkout, at that moment, you're prompting them to opt into a peer review program, and you name your incentive. Everything is set up in our business account, in your business account on eyezon site, so you can create coupons of discount coupons or any complimentary purposes. So you create this coupon, and then connecting it to your CRM system, you're targeting more loyal customers, frequent buyers who that are not going to be bad boys and girls, and they will share genuine experience, and it will most probably be more or less positive. And you're targeting with them with this proposal on the checkout. Are you okay with sharing your experience 3 times in next 3 months with 3 other customers who would be interested in this product for this or that discount, complimentary purchase, etc.? He said yes. and they do say, yes, we tested it, leave their number for the push notification purposes or their messenger. And then after that, obviously randomizing function, so we are not spamming everybody who bought the product and opting in. Once someone is interested about this product and ask for any particular review on any feature or in general shared experience about this product, he can ask not just Shop Assistant for presentation like now, but he can ask also fellow customers, a peer customer who already bought the product. You as a peer customer who bought the product get SMS notification reminder that you bought this product, there's a question about it, do you want to share your experience? You press the link and bam, you're on the product page back, but you have an interface to create a stream session or make an appointment for stream session and then get back to it through the SMS again, push and do it later. The most important here is that no one has to download anything. Your customer, peer reviewer, does not have to download business app to do these streams. So it is completely done in the web interface that follows through the link in the push notification. So again, it's a very seamless, very instantaneous, it's very shoot and forget experience. I asked for I opted in to be a peer reviewer, I can forget about it. I don't have to download anything, register anywhere, whatever. I just opted in. Person who asks for that in 3 days or 3 months, I will get with a specific frequency, I will get these notifications, and when I'm okay, I can just jump in, show stuff, or make an appointment and then jump in, show stuff, get my points, and when I've done my 3 streams within 3 months, I get an SMS notification through our hub. We are sending the coupon itself with QR code, with serial number, whatever is your fancy within your programs, with your CRM programs and MGM programs and whatnot. We are just pushing it to the customer, and then he can redeem it online or offline as he usually does with you. Again, seamless, instantaneous, and something that you do not have to think about at all. And last but not the least, probably one of the biggest things that we believe, and then I will get back to the management of all of this stuff. After some while, so all of the stuff that I was saying, these are stuff that we tested, piloted, then scaled. Some of them are still piloted, some of them are scaled a long time ago in the last 1.5 years. But during the first 6 months of this year, we already shifted into expanding this experience and its applications and its efficiency beyond the e-commerce websites and apps. To be more exact, beyond the purchase moment itself, and stretch it across as many touch points within the customer journey as possible. Which means that we've took the widget and all of its customization options, all of the scenarios that I just said, and we basically made it fully integrated in a very nice, very smooth experience, working with whatever type of online advertising and offline advertisement or material that you have at the moment. So banner, context ads, search ads, YouTube pre-rolls, mid-rolls, whatever, any type of online native advertising within articles, having a hyperlink or a widget button. So integrating the widget in any of your current ad materials online. And upon interacting with this material, now we have, typical, that would be promo page or product page, then the more smarter stuff like clicking on a banner and doing a questionnaire or a leading form that real estate does and cars do. But overall, it's a very rude, hard experience. This is why we have lower efficiency of these traditional formats, and then we look for more native, more interesting formats. Instead of thinking about these traditional formats like banner or video ad as something that could have a completely different call to action and offering a completely different, more organic, more genuine, more natural extension of this product experience and the message that it carries into a live, personal experience of the product, an exchange with a brand and with the expert, and then having a deal, making the purchase. So a very, very smooth transition from the message, from awareness into potential purchase by bypassing all of the other stages, like have time to consider it, and then review it, then ask questions, then whatnot. So the main thing here is that what we are actually doing is technical wise, it's not, there's nothing additional to what we already do, right? It's a link that triggers completely different experience. You're not going into a promo page from the banner or whatever advertising format. It just immediately triggers send requests to a specific store, to a specific set of shop assistants who are available. There's a product in stock, and they see this specific advertisement in question, so they know from where the request comes, from which platform, geography, and they understand what the ad is, so this specific product, so it's smart routed to them. They pick it up, and within minutes, you can get, while not being distracted for whatever you are reading, if you're reading an article or watching whatever, social media feed or whatever, once you've sent your request, I mean, you can keep doing what you're doing, and then you will just jump into the video session or get an invitation appointment for the video session, and then again proceed with what you're doing or jumping into the stream, making the purchase. But you are not diverted in any way from your core experience, where advertising should be complementary and useful, and usually it isn't. It asks for too much of an attention, especially if you interact with it. So here we again create seamless, smooth, I'm overusing seamless word, everybody knows for 5 years. I don't know, I just like it really, but very seamless, very smooth, very natural transition from consuming the content to considering the purchase and maybe making the purchase and then consuming the content. And along this experience, you are never having an impression that you went shopping, okay? And that's probably, as being a person who worked 20 years in strategic marketing and advertising, building brands, that's something that I personally appreciate a lot, but because that's the best advertising, right? When it comes to the offline, it's the same thing. All of the widget and the whole of the service system that we have for each product can generate, and usually does generate, a QR code as well. And you can use these QR codes once you set up the widget, connect your streamers, your shop assistants from a specific stores, create the logistical part that can work with that amount of traffic that you would get from this specific channel. You just print these QR codes with call to actions like see live, buy live, check live. You can do whatever you wanted it. Be sure to have a call to action. And once you point the camera into it, you get a trigger link, and bam, request is already sent. You don't have to ask anything. Request is sent, you're being pinged back, and then you jump into the stream or make an appointment, as I already said numerous times. It goes to such a cute, interesting, dark corners of marketing mix that, for example, Apple, in Russian market, within partnership with several largest retailers, they've done direct mailing by putting usual direct mails and product proposals and promotional offers, new launches, embedding the widget in the direct mail, where you have the product, you have a proposal, and then you have the call to action, see it live today, next hour, and get whatnot, and you just press it. And from there, you're free to go. You can do whatever you want. It just unravels whatever you're doing in your own pace. You are jumping into the video session, making the purchase, and still you're browsing your emails at work or your Facebook or whatever's your fancy. So that's basically just an extension, a very wide extension of how you can stretch out such a simple, in many respects, very flat, technical-wise thing like an on-demand live video call, right? When you look at it from this perspective, it's not a call, and it's not just live video, and it's not just an on-demand service information. It becomes suddenly much more than that when you understand that you can use it in such a wide variety of business scenarios and business models, communication scenarios and marketing scenarios. You can stretch it and extend it to after sales by printing it on the product, putting QR codes on the product, or whatever. So buying any type of products, cosmetics, beauty, or DIY kits, you usually have a lot of questions. Cars, you have a lot of questions about using these products, servicing these products. So wouldn't it be much cooler, to be able just to put the product in the camera and within a couple of minutes get a feedback from service or support center by live video or appointment for live video, and they already know what's the product, who is the customer, and what might be his issue. So these are the stuff that we are also exploring with within specific verticals, and we are very positive about the after sales, after purchase market as well. So all in all, to wrap up, why do we think that the future of live video is on demand? Is because we believe that live video, in terms of having a commercial role and role in commerce, in transforming digital retail landscape in tens of years from now, adding on to it AR solutions, VR solution, artificial intelligence, dialogue interfaces, and all of the other cool stuff that we are also working with quite a lot in R&D department, quite successfully, and we'll have some news soon. We are basically creating a completely different approach to not just how we sell stuff, but how we present ourselves as brand. And most of all, for independent retailers, manufacturers, and everybody but marketplaces, this is exactly the instrument that you can creatively use in a wildly different scenarios, from your marketing campaigns, brand image campaigns, BTLs, events, to your e-commerce websites and after-sales services and CRM program, to redefine how they actually work. And they are fully built on a live experience where your business ecosystem, built on your business ecosystem, not on bloggers, influencers, celebrities, ambassadors and experts. It's built gradually but surely on your people, your shop assistants, your people who are working across your supply chain, your partners, your partner retailers. So the people who have the skin in the game. And it's done in live format. It builds completely different live connection with your customer, which allows you to have that point of difference that you do not have with just cool digital instruments, because great digital instruments for retail are introduced every day. The main problem with them is that either it is too early, and when it's not too early for you, then everybody has it. And that's not because you're slow. It's because that the nature of this IT market for retail is like that. We are prototyping, it's difficult, and we're just doing some PR around it, and there's some clients using it just for PR purposes to show how they're advanced, but they're not scalable. Immediately when it becomes scalable, because it's software, you don't have to manufacture and distribute it to your clients, to retailers. It immediately becomes affordable and accessible to everybody, and there's no point of difference. So getting back to live on demand, because it's about people, your staff, your experts, your supply chain, your partners, and your ability to storytell your product, your brand, your services in a unique way that cannot be copied, because it's people, talents, like we were selling 50 years ago or 30 years ago, 100 years ago, until we commoditized not just the goods and services, but we actually commoditized our customer. We call our customers traffic, right? We have traffic. We have organic traffic. We have this kind of traffic. People are traffic. If your customer is traffic and your only goal is to convert it, then, and you're in the service industry, you're actually storytelling and selling is storytelling, right? And you use the same instruments as your competitors, doing some things better, some things worse. How can you expect to be different? The only way to expect to be different is to open the window within this algorithmic, big data, personalization, targeting, AI-driven marketplace approach, thinking as an independent business retailer, even within your marketplace, Amazon, but thinking independently what your USP eventually will be in this data-driven, IT-driven world, which is undoubtedly extremely useful. It will be who is using it and how you are making it obvious to your customer, and something that he can feel, see, experience that you are using it in a way that he's very comfortable with, instead of putting your bot in the chat who would say, "Hi Alexandra, how's your older daughter today?" Because we know that, and then we have something to propose for her back to school period. I mean, that's the intimacy that you don't want to have an experience with retailer, really. You're kind of not comfortable with that. But if you're talking to a salesperson who asks you questions, as they usually do, not like me, I'm a bad salesperson, I don't ask questions, I just tell stuff. Sorry for that. But they would ask you questions. They would try to understand where your focus lies, what your attention is about this product, where the need comes from. This is where you become unique. And you do it by your staff, your people, your partners. You can do it with your AI, with your employing your big data to be really precise about it. But you have to put the live experience, on-demand experience, and very personal experience at its core. And it sounds counterintuitive in 21st century in electronic trade that the personal one-on-one live sales is something that can be scalable. Again, we believe that we proved it's very, very scalable, because the value that we get out of it in terms of direct conversions, ROI, and in long term in terms of retention rates and loyalty is absolutely huge. And I won't go too much into the third reason why we believe that we are unique. I would just briefly put it, and we will give you the link to this presentation so you can go through it, revisit it, is that we are fully out-of-the-box solution. Out-of-the-box, not like Genius, out-of-the-box in a way that you can unpack it and start using it. Not being a small business, micro business, whatever, InstaShop business, but being actually an enterprise, being Walmart. And actually we had some conversations last year on our, just exploring markets. We had some talks from people from different large enterprise businesses across the globe, from Asian market to US, Canada, Latin America, and this is something that probably is something that is, when we say this, we're completely, no one believes us. No one believes us that you can set up, connect 300 stores and 3,000 shop assistants in the system, embed the widget, connect all of the dots, all of the logistics, do all of the settings, and launch it within 1 week, then scale test it within the second week, and then at the third week, if you're really hasty, on the third week you can have it across any number of SKUs that you want, and it will work. There will be stuff that you would want to fine-tune a lot, your sales scripts, your trainings for the personnel, your administrator of the service, working with dashboards, with data, exporting data, analyzing data, and everything else. There's a lot of stuff that you will do and learn on the fly all the time, because we add new features all the time across everything from app to widget to business account and dashboards. It's a process, but the core thing here is that this is the simplest, most direct, most obvious for your customer way to tell him that you are actually transforming, being digitally transformed to his benefit. And then the third thing is that you can start doing it immediately. You do not really, obviously want to be fully sure about the compliance, about the security issues. We are absolutely non-invasive. It's a script integration using Google Tag Manager that you all do all the time. So even if you have a headquarter who doesn't allow you to alter your website or whatever, you can use it by using Google Tag Manager and actually not being in any kind of security, not compromising your platform anytime in any way in security ways. And we are fully GDPR, CCPA compliant, and etc. So if you just put that check mark and say, okay, that's fine, then you can do it in a week or two. You can just start it, and you can immediately start getting metrics, data, setting KPIs, seeing how it works, fine-tuning it until it works for you in any number of scenarios that you want to use it. On your product pages, within your ads, with the shoppable ad format, as we call it, for putting your BTL promotions onto live on your partner retail websites. So basically you can make promo stand studio and then just make it on demand with promoters who would usually just stand in the store. You would pay a lot of money for that to have your promo boys and girls presenting your product in any large retail or mall. You can just put the widget on large online retail websites on your product and just connect people with your promo team on a pop-up spot that could be in a cheap place, very affordable, and you would get basically a point of sales promotion just in online channel with 10 times more coverage than your physical promo spot would get for lesser price than one promo stand and promo team. So even to that extent, all of these stuff we have experience and we understand how it's done. We come from the ATL, BTL, strategic marketing industry and e-commerce. We know stuff from inside, and this allowed us to create the product, the flow, the project management system where we assist you at any stage, starting from the very beginning until you are at like 60-70% of all of your range being covered and going nationwide in starting from 3 weeks and then ending within 3 to 6 months if it's the more complicated business ecosystem and industry. So that's our final and decisive advantage. And many of our friends, players, partners in crime have really good cases. Our advantage is that we have really good cases and then multiplied by 10 in scale. And then probably the last but not the least, I'm absolutely sure that there are some people here, probably a lot of people here who at this point were like, yeah, that's okay, that's fine. No, maybe not. But I think that you already understand what type of data you get by, integrating eyezon or any live on demand, but it would be better to do it with us, in your platforms across your touch points, starting with advertising, going through your e-commerce platform, and then to your CRM, direct marketing, direct mailing, etc. So you do understand that essentially using open API, using software development kit that we have, you can embed it in your apps, app-in-app solutions. You can do it in a variety of different ways. So that's covered. But also that allows you to get an extensive amount of data about how this service is working actually, all the way starting with the engagement with the widget on any spot and in any channel, in any touch point, all the way with all of the metrics that you can imagine, all the way to purchase event, add to cart and purchase event. Now, we do not track your purchases, right? We are not invasive software, but you can connect your data and put it in our dashboards, or you can export our data, streamlining the export of our data into your dashboards, whatever you're using, and getting a full funnel in real time with one day delay, right? On all of the parameters for all of the products, all customer segments, all of the interactions, and eventually what you get is understanding what's your return on investment on a per day basis. Because our service is paid by number of streams. This is why our tariff plans are extremely simple. We do not limit you neither by number of users, which would mean streamers. You can have 3 shop assistants, or you can have 30,000 shop assistants, partners, or whatever. We don't limit you in any number of sites where you would put the widget. You will not put it in your ads, on your partner websites, publishing websites, in your e-commerce, and embed them in the articles. Do whatever you want. What we are doing is that you're paying a 1-year amount license fee, fixed cost, that is based on different tiers, based on the overall traffic where the widget will stand. So you will say, I want to cover at least 50 million, 100 million overall annually, at least annually. And then we say, okay, let's count what would that be, and then we provide this infrastructure immediately, and we have specific costs with that, and then we have to manage the project on our behalf. But from your point of view, it is actually just a business account dashboard and a lot of instruments that you can work with independently. You don't need us guiding you by your hand. So you pay this fixed amount, and then monthly you're just paying the number of streams that you generated. And exactly streams. You don't pay for text messages, photos, whatever that comes within the package. You're paying just for the number of streams. So this allows you, as a cornerstone of your analysis, at a glance to understand how much money are you actually putting in and how much money are you getting back in terms of your direct costs, in terms of your margin and the other additional promotional instruments that you use. You can easily understand that you're plus whatever today, okay? So that's really not a crucial part for a large business who is using this strategically. That's not a crucial moment. Oh, am I ROI positive from the day one? But it is a very pleasant insight and knowledge to have in front of your eyes that you're actually making money with this from the day one. Maybe not a lot of money, but you're creating a completely different customer experience. You're getting a lot of interesting information and insights about how customers interact with the widget, with the service, with your salespeople, and on top of that, you are earning some money. And then in a 1 year, 1.5 year period, we have examples of a really, really significant sales impact, not just in terms of increasing conversions, but also in terms of repeated purchases, retention in general. Upon your request, we are always ready, not too public, to give specific figures for specific industries. We can share upon your personal request and we get to know each other a bit, but we will share the calculators for specific industries that we work with, where you could just play with figures and see by yourself, putting all of the KPIs and parameters that you have, number of stores, number of people, your margin, whatever, and you can get these figures really, really clear within like 20 minutes to understand, is this something that you can start using and to which extent and whatnot. So there's a number of dashboards that give you a total awareness about whatever you're doing. So you're basically seeing all of the funnel from start to finish. And then there's a granularity of data that you get, because having at heart of this in terms of data is the content that is created, right? The video streams that are created by your personnel for your customer and within interaction with your customer by voice, text, showing them, having a conversation when doing demonstration. You are gathering an incredible amount of incredibly valuable information that you cannot get from any space that you are currently selling, even Amazon or whatnot. There's no quality data on thousands of shopper sessions done in the last 7 days on these specific products. There's no source that can provide you with that kind of shopper research. So if would you just use eyezon solely for purposes of marketing research, and we have some marketing research players, global players, being interested in that scenario of usage with their main clients, manufacturer brands and retailers, just using it for the sake of doing a couple of thousand of shopper sessions per specific product or product range within a week or two, and then analyzing all of this material in terms of issues, barriers, key benefits, keywords, what should you use more oftenly, applying this to your analyzing all of these sessions, extrapolating this data and getting a really extensive, comprehensive shopper research that you can use in marketing materials, in your changing your product page, layouts, content, adapting sales scripts for your physical stores, shop assistants, also useful for them. I would just give you one example, a goofy one, and especially because it's goofy, is that what we learned in washing machines, home appliances, in washing machine segment, immediately it was like 4th or 5th week early last year, when we started working with this category, is that there were salespeople who knew in the store who knew the importance, who were just they didn't knew. They were so passionate about selling this product that they understood that it's very important that the customer understands how the barrel in a washing machine, the inside of the barrel is engineered and done, because it could be a huge difference in centrifugal force and removing water or whatnot. I don't know. I don't understand it, but they were so passionate about it that when they got the opportunity to put customers' head into there and tell them about it, and they couldn't do it in the store because you say to people, if you want, you can look inside of the barrel of the washing machine, and no one actually does it. But when you put the phone there and they say, you see here, that's the construction, that's better, that's worse. So these types of interactions where they showed and demonstrated and explained it in like 30 seconds, they had like 2.5 higher conversions into the purchase. These types of interactions. So now just scale this small insight into, all of your interactions with your customers, starting with advertising and marketing materials, and then going into the customer support across all of the touch points. So just for understanding, this is not something that you can do a lot by hand, analyzing thousands of streams all of the time, but your market research agencies most obviously can. That's what they do usually. It just takes much more time and much more money to do it than by using eyezon created content. And the second thing is that this is going to be, and is already, we're working on automatization of specific aspect of the analysis of this content, right? So we are, first of all, we are putting all of this content into a transcription format, analyzing the dialogue, frames, splitting the key frames of how the product was shown and everything else. And then obviously we are very much into the machine learning and working with analyzing and putting in, streamlining the process of automatic analysis of wide range of parameters of this exchange, right? This session. What were the main barriers? What were the main issues? How they were tackled with? What are the keywords that actually work and give conversions? What are the ones that stop conversion? The following of the script, how the script was followed, sales script, was it followed correctly or not correctly, in which respect, and etc. So this gives you a lot of information, not just to play with your product presentation, marketing, etc., but also to keep the quality of these sessions at the necessary level, right? Understanding, and you would see that if you go to the demo, contact us and we go through the demo, you will see you have a possibility to go all the way down to a very specific problem, like too short sessions or sessions that didn't show properly the product, or where specific promotional offers were not pronounced by the streamer. And then you can see an exact streamers that suffer with this issue, and you can see it in figures, and then you can connect to them and you can give them the feedback soon within their app, a custom feedback from your dashboard of what should they pay attention to or what not. And obviously in future we want to automatize a lot of these stuff, because that's not really rocket science right now. So wrapping up, the insights eventually, what we started with is conversions. And then in the middle, I was talking a lot about the richness and plentitude of scenarios and experiences. It's like if you hear your creative media agencies, digital agency, agent or internal in-house resource who designs and works with your customer experience in your retail online store and offline, all of these businesses within your business ecosystem getting this sandbox that we offer can play very creatively in an incredible amount of different ways across all the touch points, redefining all of the ways that you're interacting with your customers. So the first was conversions. The second is creativity. Your business in e-commerce finally becomes creative because it's boring to death. I'm absolutely sure that you're bored to death. You love your job. It's very interesting. You love your figures. You love to crunch your data. You love to think about digital transformation. But eventually, it becomes boring to death because you're doing pretty much the same stuff that everybody else is doing it, because that's how the IT industry in retail is working. And here you're creating something that everybody else would also have probably. But where the point of difference will be in how creatively it is used. like advertising. Everybody can do it, but it's vastly different in terms of efficiency, or was. So that's creativity, and then the third one is the insights. So to wrap up, we're better than any live options, and then most of the players that are playing, or all of the players we believe, that play with live on demand as part of their service ecosystem, not because they're bad or that they're doing something wrong, but they're in different businesses. We're in the business of live on demand. Most of other solutions in the market are in business of live broadcasting or on-demand clienteling services. And we believe that the user experience, the customer experience, not just by your end customer, but you as an administrator of the service, your e-commerce director, IT director, who is also responsible for this stuff to work, and most of all, your shop assistants, your sales staff on the floor. We are creating and recreating this live on-demand physical presence into the shop, keeping in mind all of these aspects and keeping this experience at the core, not trying to create and build something on it that is not part of that new paradigm. So probably I would say that future of live is on demand in terms of e-commerce, and we do believe that future is eyezon, or anyone who would beat us and be smarter and more passionate than us and having a wider vision than I currently presented, like 30% of it to you, the things that I can. It will be eyezon or any of these new players who would be passionate enough to take this one thing instead of all of the inventory for the IT and build around it and add live to it, but build ground up the live on demand experience in all of the interactions and iterations that he can imagine today and tomorrow. So thank you very much for your attention. I can answer any questions if there are any. Very often people get tired listening to long speeches. So if you have any questions, I would be really, really happy to answer them. And until I get this feedback, if we do have something, yeah, I just seen the message that there was no introductory video. Let's make a brief pause until I see any questions, and then I will answer them. Okay, so as far as I understand, no questions. That's very good. I will be an optimist, and I would choose to believe that I brought too much clarity to what I was talking about. I didn't tackle a lot of direct cases with direct figures. I would just probably wrap up here and just point on where we started with this conversation. Our current engagement rate, so click-through rate, is pretty much around the average for most of the interactive elements on the within the e-commerce website. So most of the key buttons, to be very blunt. When it comes to conversions into stream requests and from requests into streams and videos, and then conversions to sales, as I said, we are starting with 16% as our lowest conversion rate, and then to 73 as our highest, depending on the industry. I think that you understand that it's 10 to 20-fold difference with the typical online page, product page conversions. When it comes to brick and mortar, it is around 18 to 20% for marketplaces is much higher, but then marketplaces are preferred places of purchase. That's why it's higher. In independent retailers, it's below 20% currently worldwide, and we do deliver over 20% in most of our categories after the customer interacted with the widgets and got any type of the experiences that I've just explained. And I believe that that's enough good reason to start thinking about it, and a good reason to contact us and have a 20-minute conversation. Would be probably that I would open specific calculators for specific verticals, industries that are of your interest, and we'll give you a very exact numbers, for most of the stuff that you would be interested in for this specific industry, so that you could understand, get a picture of what you would get, where could you start, at which scale, how you could scale it further, and what would be the overall benefit created for your business by using the app. So we would share specific cases, we always do, with specific numbers, calculator with you, and then if you would be interested, we would give you references on businesses that we are working. Almost any of our clients is very open to sharing this experience. Actually, we have a really tight community of large businesses that work with us who communicate in between each other. We connect them, we organize this knowledge transfer and exchanging the experiences, because we learn on the way, and all of the stuff that I told you today is not something that we understood because we are smart, but because of this very tight connection and mutual understanding between us, our current clients, and our potential clients, that we are building something completely new that's at its infancy at the moment, but could be a make it or break it instrument and approach for a wide range of businesses in the next 10 years. Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon in any role. Bye-bye.